Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. So we have prepped some brass, we have sized it, chamfered it, deburred it, deprimed it, primed it, trimmed it, all that good stuff. Go back to the last video for that, but today we're going to go over how to add powder and factors that you have to take into account when you're choosing powder. And we're going to get started right now. We have taken all these processes on this brass to make it getting closer to a fireable cartridge. And today we're going to go over powder, and I think we're going to keep this kind of short, but we're going to be very concise in this, and it's the only step we're going to do because it's a very important step. This is probably hand in hand with bullet seating, how to put the bullet in here, as far as safety goes. So that's why we're only going to cover this topic and this topic only. We're going to do powder, and we're going to jump right over to scales. So some of the scales that you got to use, because you've got to weigh powder. 1 pound of powder, weighs a pound, is 7,000 grains. We are going to deal in tenths of a grain. Okay, so math, it blows me away sometimes. This is the most simple scale you can get. It's a balance beam, basically. It's got graduated parts here. You put your powder in here. And then let's say I'm going to move this up to the 50. Well, now that, if this is zeroed out, that will now weigh 50 grains of powder accurately at the level. Here, that's tens. We've got ones adjustment here. And I'm not going to get super detailed on this because I don't use this a lot. And then it's got the tenths adjustment over here. And I'm going to put a model of this on the screen now to show you, these are very accurate, but they do take more time. And not really my preferred method. So bringing on back, show you this. So we've got to be able to measure and weigh powder properly. Okay, and so I use a digital scale, which is back here. We'll bring that in a second, but that's what I'm going to be using today. And the other part of this is going to be powder selection. And so I'm going to pop up some stuff from Hodgdon again that shows you for different grains of bullet you need different charge weights. We're looking at, they've already done the math on this. They account for powder capacity inside of a case, expansion, all that good stuff, pressures and all of that. So you have and then I'll show you minimum powder charge, and then now we can show you maximum powder charge. I don't prescribe to the theory that you start at the very minimum because you're going to get super slow results, and as long as your bullet seating was correct, then it's not going to really do much for you. I like to go middle of the road on both of those readings. That is my procedure. That is not my advice. We'll go over this. I'm going to put this out of the way. Some of the powders I have up here, and here's our 3 brass cases. Some of the powders I have up here, I'm not going to go over like burn rates because I don't know the actual rate. But all of these do something different. All of these are just a little bit different in the way they perform, whether it be hot temperature, cold temperature, whether you gathered your data when it was hot, whether you gathered your data when it was cold. So you've got to do your research on these. I find that Varget and IMR 4064, or Varget, I get it. Everybody says it different. Varget from Hodgdon, or IMR 4064, it's an IMR powder, but it's from Hodgdon. I find that these work best for me. I also have CFE 223 that works for 223, of course. 308, it was for my Grendel when I was shooting Grendel. And so I have a lot of that. 8208 XBR, depending on the bullet size, and then Reloader 15. I've got about 5 more powders in there that I can use for all these loads as well. And so I will pop up now. This is a burn rate chart. And this is from fastest to slowest burn rates. Don't put too much merit into that just yet until you learn what all that is. But I kind of go from middle to slower on 308, even though I shoot a shorter barrel, because I do like the consistency of Varget and IMR 4064. And so I'm going to get these back out of the way, bring you back here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and show you how I load and put powder into these cases, and I'm going to show you once on the balance beam. I hate using that thing, but I'm going to show you the second one on the digital scale and show you how easy that can be, and then we're going to end this video as quick as possible. Okay, so we're going to use this balance beam scale to show you how I get all of this done in the slowest possible manner. So that's off a little bit. I'll actually show you this. So it's off just a little bit over here. And basically what you want is you want that kind of that balance beam to be level with the top of the plastic here. And so you can see the inherent flaw with that. So we're going to do that. So it's a little heavy, so the weight needs to come this way. So I'll stop the movement here. I'll loosen that just a little bit, and then you have to wait. Now when you do this, this needs to be on 0 for the tens, the ones needs to be on 0, and the tenths need to be on 0, and your catch or bowl, I'll call it, needs to be on in that last slot. And we appear to be pretty dead on. I'm just going to leave it at that. And so we're gonna load. There's a load that I like to use for this certain powder that I like to use. It's 44.5 grains. So what we'll do, we'll go to 40, and even though it says it right in plain day, I'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. I get the feel because my eyes are getting bad. I need to make sure. Then I come back behind it like I am now. I can see that the 4 is lined up with that mark. And so I'll just leave it at 44 grains just to keep things simple. As you can see, because I moved weights this way, the beam went down. And so what you want to do, you want to put some powder in here. I'm going to flash up on the screen right now. There's a powder dispenser style that you can get that mounts on your bench top. It's not the most exact. If you're looking for super precise, what you can do is you can take the powder from this measure, dump it into a bowl such as the silver one, or dump it into this black one, and it has a slightly reduced charge. And then you can use this device, a powder trickler, and I'll show you what that does in a second, to finalize the load. And so for now, we're just going to dump powder in. This is going to be a lot, so you've got to do this slow, because remember, there's 7,000 grains in a pound. And so I've got 50 grains preloaded into this hopper, or in this bowl. Alright, so we're getting some movement now. And we did too much. And that's okay. So I'm going to take this off. This is why you use powder measures. You can do it like this. I don't recommend it. Take you forever to reload. Okay, so now we're light. Alright, so now we're going to take this trickler. It has an opening. This tube comes back into the main mechanism here, and it's got an opening in the tube. So as you twist it, it basically screws down, and powder will go out. I'm going to kind of keep it off screen here. Actually, I can put it in screen. Hold on. My bad. Alright, and so now what I'm trying to do is get this level. This does not move a lot of powder. As you can see, hopefully, if you're zoomed in a little bit, very few kernels of powder are coming out. But I can get some results, and you can see that lever moving. Okay, so we're getting closer. So you see, this is why you would measure in a bench top or a press top type powder dispenser first. So we're getting super close. This is where you can get really fine on this. There are even digital scales that will do this for you. Alright, so my old eyes say that that is about right. So that's it. And then you take that, you take a funnel, and you put it in your case, which, you know what? I didn't reach for it earlier, but I guess I'll do it now. Okay, so now you would take this powder, you would use your funnel. This is kind of the funnel that comes with all the reloading kits, and you would then set that on top. As you can see, it's not super stable, and I would pour that in there. I quit using this powder funnel. Remember, I told you this stuff adds up, right? And I use this powder funnel now. This one's from Hornady. On the inside of the bottom here, it is machined to mimic the neck of a 308. And so it fits pretty well. The 308 I find is a little shaky. It's not awesome. But what happens is I get a more precise fit right here on the neck. So I don't lose powder and it doesn't get stuck. So I literally just put it on there. Let me move this out of the way. And I pour it in, just like that. Also being made out of aluminum, it zips right down into that case. All right. So as you'll see, that's a little full. Not telling you to load that full, but that's how you do it on that machine. Now I'm going to bring you over to my electronic press and show you how we do it over there. This particular press is the Frankfurt Arsenal IntelliDropper. It's all digital. I can link it up through Bluetooth. I can run everything through my phone. There are a lot of models, Hornady, RCBS, and several others that do the exact same thing. I'm not going to sit here and try to tell you which one's better, worse, whatever, you know, the good, better, best type deal. But whatever you do, you need to make sure it's zeroed. It does have calculating and zeroed features that you can use for your weights here. Then you can also do this with most of these. You can hit a powder cal, which is a powder calculation. For this one, it's in this bottom left corner. I've already done that, but what that does is it lets the machine learn how coarse or fine the powder is, so you get a more accurate charge. And so we have done that. We've calibrated the weight. We've calibrated the powder for the IMR 4064. And then I just type in, I want to do 44.5 grains. So I go 44.5. And then I can also hit a mode, right now it's on manual, so it just do one time when I hit go. I can hit mode and it'll go to automatic. So every time I put that bowl back down on there, it'll start to charge again. But I'll just do one load to show you what that looks like. So it'll go really fast, it'll slow down a little bit, and then it'll trickle it out. If it goes over or under, it will let you know with a beep. So we're at 44.3, 4, and you can see it barely moving. 44.5, just like that. It's not the absolute fastest. If you've got a pretty good press mounted or bench mounted powder thrower, it's going to be pretty close. But I like this because it's more consistent than I am. And when I tested this model compared to what I have right here on that press, this digital model did better. And so that's what I do there. Then I would just take my funnel and I would throw it in the case. That's it. I feel like I may have oversimplified this, but really there's going to be a lot of homework when it comes to powder choice and all that, that's on you. And so you've got to go do the research. You've got to go find people that have done this before. You've got to go see what the manufacturer suggests. If you're reloading for 308, there are a dozen or more hardcore powders that, like, that's your go-to. And so that's a good place to start. You're going to see a lot of people talking about Varget, IMR 4064, CFE 223 is pretty dang good. Like, there's a lot of them that are just staples of each. I'll call each caliber in each cartridge its community. Each community has, these are the powders we like to use. Yes, they can be used for other things too, but they are very much useful for that cartridge. And so start looking at that. Then either buy a reloading manual or use Hodgdon's site or another reputable manufacturer site, because they've done this research. They've pressure tested rifles, and so they know. And you can use that data to get a good starting point. The onus is on you guys now. You guys need to go start doing research now. Find out what powders you're going to use, find out why you're going to use it, make sure the burn rate's right, make sure if you need temperature sensitivity, resistance. I loaded and tested in the summer, but my hunt is in December in the high mountains of Colorado. Like, you need something that's temperature resistant, and you need to understand drops and all that stuff. But I digress to back to powders. Figure out how you want to measure your powders. Remember, we've got, I'll pop them up, the press mounted, we've got the bench mounted that can throw powder, we've got this balance beam that I just showed you, and we've also got these electronic ones that I just showed. And I'll have showed all those just now. But make a decision. It is a monetary decision. It is also a precision decision. Heck, you can do, I think it's called the FX or something like that. If I can find that, I'll pop it up. But that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars. And then you can get a trickler that goes on top of that. There's another one I can't remember the name of that does 0.01 grains. Like it's crazy. You can really dive deep on this stuff. Keep it simple, stupid. Keep it simple for right now. Do the things that you know that are going to work, the things that are proven, the things that the manufacturers recommend. Go with that. Learn along the process. Get better at manipulating and trimming and chamfering and deburring your brass, and have decent tools to do all that. Pick the right powders, and then we'll go from there. Bullet seating coming in a couple of days here. We'll talk to you soon. Stay tactical.